Welcome to Master Your Money, Budgeting, Saving, and Debt-Free Living. I'm your host, Nate Tanner. On this show, we use the Triggator triangle, budget, save, and pay off debt to help you build a spending plan that fits your life, grow your savings with purpose, and knock out debt with confidence. First, before we get started, I just want to let you know I got a little bit of a cold over the weekend after a trip, so I'm a little bit hoarse today, but we will try to get through this. Now, with that, let's talk holidays. The lights, the music, the smell of cinnamon rolls in the oven. It's magical. But for many, that magic comes with a side of financial stress. You know the drill. Swipe now, worry later. January rolls around and suddenly the joy of December feels like a hangover. Except instead of aspirin, you need a payment plan. Here's the truth. The holidays should be about connection, not credit card debt. About laughter, not late fees. And yes, you can have both joy and financial peace without turning into the Grinch. In this episode, we're going to flip the script on holiday spending. You'll learn how to create a holiday spending plan that prioritizes joy and avoids guilt. How to use creative gift ideas and timing to save big. And we'll talk about planning ahead for seasonal expenses with an alligator fund, your secret weapon for predictable non-monthly expenses. We'll sprinkle in practical tips, a few surprising stats, and even a few pop culture nods or two. Because what's a holiday special without a little fun? Plus, I'll show you how the upcoming Triggator app will make planning for these expenses easier than ever. So grab a cup of cocoa or herbal tea if cocoa's not your thing, settle in, and let's make this holiday season the one where you celebrate without regret and start the new year without a financial hangover. Let's get into it. To start things off, I want to tell you one of my favorite Christmas movies is Christmas Vacation. I think it is hilarious and I love it. So we're going to cover this episode around the Griswolds, starting off with the Griswold Light Show, how to build a holiday spending plan that sparks joy without blowing your budget. Picture this, Clark Griswold standing in his front yard, extension cords everywhere, ready to light up the neighborhood like Times Square. He's sweating, determined, and convinced that more lights equal more joy. Sound familiar? For many of us, holiday spending feels the same. If we go bigger, brighter, then it's better. But here's the truth. Joy doesn't come from maxing out your credit card or stringing 25,000 imported Italian twinkle lights across your financial life. Clark's Light Show is hilarious because it's over the top. And while we laugh, we also relate. Overspending during the holidays often starts with good intentions, wanting to make things special, but ends with January regret. So how do we keep the sparkle without the financial short circuit? Step 1, define your holiday vision, not just your budget. Before you start plugging in the lights, ask, what does a joyful holiday look like for me? Is it cozy nights with family, thoughtful gifts, experiences instead of stuff? Write it down. This isn't just a spending plan, it's a joy plan. List your priorities, rank what matters most, family time, travel, maybe some gifts, food, decor. Set a spending cap. Decide what you can afford without going into debt. Remember, a spending plan is active. It tells your money where to go, not tracking where it went. A quick stat check. According to the National Retailer Federation, Americans spent an average of $875 on holiday gifts in 2024. That's before food, decor, and travel. Without a plan, those numbers climb fast. Step 2, break it down by category. Clark didn't just buy lights, he bought ladders, extension cords, and probably aspirin. Your holiday has layers too. Break your spending into categories. Gifts, who's on your list? Set a per person limit. Food and festivities, from the big dinner to cookie swaps, estimate those costs. Decor, decide what's enough. Hint, you don't need a Griswold level display unless that's your hobby and your thing. After all, that is my thing. Travel. Factor in gas, flights, and hotel stays. Here's a quick pro tip coming up in the Triggator app, which is coming soon. You can create these categories and track your spending in real time. It's like having a financial GPS for your holiday journey. Step 3, add a cushion for surprises. Because let's be honest, holiday surprises happen. A last-minute party, an extra gift, or the neighbor who drops off fudge and suddenly you feel obligated to reciprocate. Build a small buffer into your plan so that you're ready for the unexpected without blowing a fuse. Remember when Clark finally plugs in the lights and the whole house glows like a beacon? It's glorious until the power grid groans. That's what overspending feels like. Bright for a moment, then overwhelming. Your spending plan keeps the lights on without tripping the breaker. Before you buy more gifts or string more lights, create a holiday spending plan. Define your vision, set your cap, break it down by category, and add a cushion. This isn't about restriction, it's about intention, joy without guilt. Now that your lights are under control, let's talk gifts, because nothing says holiday stress like last-minute shopping at sky-high prices. Next, we'll explore some creative gift ideas and timing strategies so that you can give generously without draining your wallet. The Jelly of the Month Club, creative gift ideas and timing to save big. Remember Clark's face when he opens that envelope expecting a fat Christmas bonus and instead finds a membership to the Jelly of the Month Club? It's the ultimate holiday letdown. Why? Because expectations weren't managed. And when it comes to holiday gifting, unrealistic expectations can wreck your spending plan faster than Cousin Eddie can park his RV in your driveway. Here's the good news. You don't need a big bonus or a big credit card bill to give meaningful gifts. With a little creativity and heart, you can spread joy without spreading your finances thin. First, redefine what generous looks like. Generosity isn't about big price tags. It's about thoughtfulness. Some of the most memorable gifts cost little but mean a lot. Ask yourself, what would make this person feel seen and appreciated? Experience gifts, a homemade coupon for a movie night, a hike or a game night. Memory gifts, frame a favorite photo or create a playlist of songs tied to shared memories. Skill gifts, bake cookies, knit a scarf, or write a heartfelt letter. A recent survey found that 62% of Americans prefer gifts with personal meaning over expensive items. Translation, your creativity matters more than your credit limit. My favorite gifts, why heart beats price. Some of my most prized gifts weren't extravagant. They were deeply personal. One year, when we were really struggling financially, my wife gave me a small canning jar, the kind that Grandma used to make homemade jams in. Inside were strips of paper rolled up into little scrolls, each tied with a ribbon. The label read, Date Night Picker, Draw One. Inside each scroll was a date night idea, a picnic in the park, a canyon drive, ice cream cone night. This one had a $5 bill rolled up in it. There were about 20 different low-cost or no-cost date nights. Like the Jelly of the Month Club, it was the gift that kept giving all year long. Another gift I'll never forget came from my aunt. When I was 8 years old, she compiled a book of Nate, a scrapbook of my life from birth to age 8, with spaces for milestones all the way to my wedding day. It included family histories of my grandparents and my great-grandparents. At age 8, I didn't fully appreciate it. But decades later, after the passing of these grandparents and great-grandparents, and after the experiences that I have had and been able to add to that book, it is now priceless. It was more than a gift. It's a legacy. These gifts taught me something. Meaning lasts longer than money. Tech gadgets fade, trendy toys break, but gifts from the heart, they endure. Second, shop smart, even if you're short on time. We are 9 days from Christmas, so let's be real. Black Friday is far behind us, but we still have options. Check out small businesses locally. They often run last-minute specials. Check for digital gifts like ebooks, streaming subscriptions, or online classes that can be purchased instantly and still have big savings. And of course, the do-it-yourself gifts. Use what you have. Craft, bake, write. These gifts feel personal and avoid shipping delays. Third, embrace group gifting. Instead of buying separate gifts for everyone, consider pooling resources for one meaningful gift. It's less stress, less cost, and often more impact. Clark's Jelly of the Month Club fiasco reminds us surprises are fun when they're intentional, not when they blow up your financial plan. By planning your gifts and focusing on meaning over money, you avoid your own holiday disappointment. This season, focus on creativity, timing, and meaning, not price tags. Start now, shop smart, and think outside of the gift box. Your wallet and your relationships will thank you. We've tackled lights and gifts, but what about those sneaky holiday costs that pop up like Cousin Eddie's RV? In the next section, we'll talk about planning for seasonal expenses with an alligator fund, so you're ready for the surprises without draining your joy. Cousin Eddie's RV, planning for holiday surprises with an alligator fund. Picture this. Clark is gazing out the window, dreaming of a perfect Christmas, when suddenly Cousin Eddie pulls up in that rusty RV. No warning, no heads up, just a surprise that changes everything. Holidays are like that. No matter how well you plan, unexpected expenses roll in like Eddie's RV. But here's the truth. Most surprises aren't surprises at all. Christmas is always December 25th. Birthdays always happen the same day each year. Car registration, Costco memberships, Amazon Prime renewal, they're all annual. Oil changes every 3 months. Back to school shopping every August. These aren't emergencies. They're predictable alligators that are lurking in the water. The trouble is they don't show up on a traditional monthly budget, so they are forgotten until they snap and bust your plan. That's why we created the Alligator Fund, a way to feed these gators before they bite. So what is an alligator fund? Well, an alligator fund is money set aside for predictable, non-monthly expenses. These aren't rainy day surprises. They're known events that just don't fit neatly into that traditional monthly budget. But by feeding these gators regularly, you avoid the panic when they surface. Identify your alligators. Start by listing every recurring expense that isn't monthly. These can be holidays like Christmas. They could be events like birthdays or anniversaries. Maybe annual memberships like Costco and Amazon Prime. They could be vehicle costs like your registration, your oil changes every 3 months. They could also be additional seasonal needs like back to school or maybe summer activities. Review your last year's statements. Spot the patterns, and those patterns are your gators. Next, calculate and divide by paychecks. Here is the simple formula. Add up what you need to have ready for the expense. Then divide by the number of paychecks until you need the cash. A very simple example. Let's say that you want $1,300 for next year's holiday spending. If you're paid every other week, that's 26 paychecks. Divide $1,300 by 26 and you get $50 a paycheck. That's the cost of about a week's worth of premium double caramel lattes at Starbucks. Start today and you will have a full 26 paychecks before next Christmas. Time is your best friend when you're building your alligator fund. A quick stat, 37% of Americans take on debt for the holiday expenses. Feeding your gators now means you won't be part of that statistic next year. Automate and separate. Open a dedicated savings account for your alligator fund. Automate transfers every payday. When the gator surfaces, like Christmas, birthdays, back to school, you're ready. No stress, no debt. Cousin Eddie's RV is funny on screen, but in real life, surprise expenses aren't. Your alligator fund is like having a guest room ready. So when Cousin Eddie shows up, you're prepared. Start your alligator fund now, even if it's small. Label it, automate it, and feed those gators every paycheck. Next year, you'll celebrate without fear or financial surprises. You've made it to the end of holiday spending without regret. And if you're still here, it means you're serious about making this season joyful without the January blues. That's huge. Most people just hope for the best and swipe their way through December. You've got a plan. We started with Clark's Light Show, reminding us that joy doesn't come from blowing fuses or budgets. Then we tackled gifts with the Jelly of the Month Club lesson. Meaning beats money every time. Finally, we parked Cousin Eddie's RV and learned how to feed those financial alligators before they bite. Here's the big takeaway. Intentionality wins. When you plan ahead, prioritize joy, and prepare for predictable expenses, you create holidays that feel magical, not stressful. Today's challenge is simple but powerful. Before today ends, grab a notebook or open up your notes app and list your top 3 holiday priorities. Then write down one action you'll take today to align your spending with those priorities. Bonus, start your alligator fund. Even if it's just $20, label it and commit to feeding those gators every paycheck. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one creative gift idea you've used or received that meant more than money? How are you planning to keep joy front and center this season? What's your biggest holiday spending win so far? Email me at podcast@Triggator.com or message me on Instagram, Facebook, or X at Triggator. If this episode helped you, follow the show so that you never miss tips to keep the holidays bright and your finances calm. Leave a review, especially if this episode helped you rethink holiday spending. Share this episode with a friend who could use a little financial peace this season. And don't forget to follow @Triggator on social media for tips, encouragement, and behind-the-scenes content. Want more? Visit Triggator.com and download the free Triggator ebook. It's packed with strategies to make your money work smarter. And if you want early access to the beta release of the Triggator app, email me at podcast@Triggator.com with beta access in the subject line. Next time on Master Your Money, we're tackling a big one. Debt freedom is possible. Your roadmap to life without payments. We'll break down the barriers that make debt freedom feel out of reach. Show you how to use the Triggator triangle to prioritize payoff without burnout. And share ways to celebrate small wins so that you stay motivated. If you've ever wondered, can I really live without debt? This episode is your answer. Remember Clark's house finally lighting up at night? That's what clarity feels like. When you plan, prioritize, and prepare, your financial life shines bright without blowing a fuse. Keep feeding those gators, keep choosing joy, and keep moving towards peace. Thanks for listening to Master Your Money, Budgeting, Saving, and Debt-Free Living. I'm your host, Nate Tanner. See you next time.